Guys, welcome to the late, but better late than never edition of what we need to work on this week. So here we are at the, as usual, we're going to start at the start page. So if you're in whatever class, this week we'll use 5th hour. We're going to let the page load, and here we are. We have start here. We've got the list of what we're working on this week. We're working on some Enlightenment thinkers and how that led to the Declaration of Independence. So if you look at our weekly breakdown, Monday and Tuesday, we have the prelude to the deck. And there's 2 lessons that are involved in that we did in class, and they're already done. But there's a video version of those lessons if you missed them. And we'll talk about that when we look at the tab for this unit. Wednesday and Thursday is a makeup day. So I'm going through with every student and I'm bringing you up, talking about anything you're missing, anything you need to redo in my class, and then going ahead and looking to see if there's anything you need to redo or make up in any of your other classes. So we're trying to get some of these D's and F's off. We're trying to clean up the grades. It's as bad as I've ever seen it at this whole school. So we're trying to make some gains there. And then Friday there's a unit pretest and a video to watch. So the pretest is right here. It's a pretest. It's not graded. You're going to take the post-test on this same stuff next week. It's really quick, and it has a lot to do with the lessons that we've already taken, but that I'm posting right now in case you missed them. So let's take a look at the tab we're on this week, which is Unit 7, Rights of Man and the Declaration of Independence. Let's clip that. Okay, so right here I'm going to delete this and I'm going to put up the breakdown for the whole unit, which is over a couple weeks. So I forgot to delete that, my bad. Here's our lesson, okay? This PowerPoint goes along and it's a lesson that we had to do with Enlightenment thinkers. So what you're going to be able to do is use this PowerPoint kind of help you along with this lesson over here. If you look over here at Mr. A lesson, Liberty and Social Contract, I want you to watch the first one. Go through the first one, and as you roll through some of these slides, you're going to get some information that you're going to need to look up. Okay? And I'm going to post those in a document form, maybe somewhere else too. But you can get them right here off of the Google Slides. And those are what I'm talking about when I go through this lesson right here, Lesson A. So you're supposed to go through, do that, learn to summarize those, look up what these quotes are from. And then you'll go to Lesson B, where you're basically checking your answers, because I will tell you where all these quotes are from, and I will give you my version of the summaries or why they're important, and you can kind of compare the notes that way. That's the lesson for this week. Okay, there's some other stuff you can do here. There's this Enlightenment Thinkers video. That's very useful. Up at the top here, these are links for the latest podcast that I made with Mr. Cannon. So they're about the Boston Massacre, which is part of the next little test you're on. So if you want a little more in-depth review of the Boston Massacre and how it relates to today, that's a good place to click those links and you can listen to me and Mr. Cannon talk about those. There's also a crash course here. This isn't anything required. It just might be another way that some of you can learn from it. So because we chopped up this unit with the British Acts unit, I don't have a separate primer for this test. So that's something I need to look into and get made. And I'll probably have to do that because if you guys are going to have to retake the test, I need you to rewrite the primer. So that's probably my homework this weekend, is getting that primer done. As we scroll down, there's an assignment we're going to do next week about a personal Declaration of Independence. So I should have a copy. Here we go. I have this Declaration of Independence, and I'm actually going to move those around. That one's going to move up. Like that. Okay, this is the Declaration of Independence broken down and in more simple language. So it's an abridged version. And we're going to review that and learn about the different parts of the Declaration. We're going to see if we can find out of those documents we talked about in lesson 1 and 2 yesterday and today, what inspired the Declaration of Independence. And then that's all building towards this, where you're going to write your own personal Declaration of Independence. So you can just pull this open, do it on Google Docs, share it with me. And you're going to write about whatever, something you think is unfair. So I'm going to give you one example. You can't use it. It's my example. Okay? Maybe I think that it is completely unfair. Let me think of something just random that you aren't going to pick anyway. I think it's unfair that my tax dollars have to pay for wheelchair ramps in my neighborhood because there's nobody in my neighborhood who even is on a wheelchair. So why should my taxes go for something when the vast majority of people don't need a wheelchair, and in my neighborhood there's nobody with a wheelchair? There you go. That's a weird thing to be mad about, but say I'm mad about that. Here's a description of the rights I think I should have. I think I should not have to have taxes paid for small, little, tiny minority groups, especially when they don't represent where I live. If there were people, I might feel differently. List of grievances. My tax dollars have been taken for this. They could have been used in some better way. My neighborhood's all tore up because they have to tear up the old concrete. And then I will declare my freedom. So because of all of this, and because I believe the local people, all the way down to the block or neighborhood level, should be in charge of what happens in their neighborhood, I declare my freedom from government mandated and citizen paid for wheelchair ramps on the curbs. Okay, crazy, right? But you can pick one. Do it on, I've had some fun ones, interesting ones on homework. I've had them on sharing a room with your brother. I've had them on dress codes. Somebody does one on dress code every year. Pick something that actually matters to you and just have fun with that assignment. The quiz is here again. It's also on that startup page. So when we take the test, it'll be on the startup page, but you can take the pretest from either location. And that is what we're looking at this week. I think that's everything. Okay? So have fun with it. Review the lessons if you need to over here. And we'll finish up Unit 7 next week in November. All right. Thank you.